In this video, we're going to learn how to filter your way into better tone. Hey guys, I'm Doctor McFarland and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, please subscribe down below and click the bell for all things head rush, modeling, recording, and just guitar gear in general. So what I have here in front of me is the head rush core, but this concept will apply to all major modelers, any other EQ pedal you might have on your pedal board, and let's dive right in. So I have a Doc dual rig set up here with 2 clean amps and 2 overdrive amps, but really the number of amps do not matter. So what I'm listening for is the top end sizzle and the low end chug, and how we can actually reduce that and make it sound way more tighter, especially in the mix of a recording or in a live situation. So we're going to go to the block diagram, go to global EQ, and you can do something very, very similar on the legacy head rush units as well. And Fractal has an output EQ block, Kemper, Helix, Toemaster Pro, pretty much all of the modelers do nowadays. What we see here is a cut on the lows and the highs, and we're carving out certain frequencies so we can just really hone in on the mid-range and not so much on the high-end sizzle of the guitar sound. So if I take this off, this is what we get. Okay, not too bad, but if I turn this on, this is what we get now. So we've taken all that high end and removed it, and it should make your guitar sound a lot smoother. So let's go over to the overdrive sound, and this is what we have with the global EQ off. And here it is with it on. Okay, so you can notice that there's a lot less high end taking up that space where normally the cymbals and other high end information would go in a mix. So I do have this pretty low, set to 3500 hertz on the top end, and on the bottom end I have it set to 80 hertz. So we can actually go up to about 100 here and go up to our high cut. Let's go all the way up to 5K and see what that does. Also notice on the very bottom in our cut mode, we have the option between 24 dB and 12 dB per octave slope. So the 12 dB slope is going to be a lot more aggressive. And I also have the quality of this bump raised a little bit. So I'm going to bring this back down. So we have a more neutral bump at the cutoff frequency. And the other mode we can get into is shelf, which I don't want to do that right now. So let's go to 5K and let's listen to what we have now. So once again, here it is off. And here it is on. So I think at 5K that still sounds really good, but you are cutting out the high end that we just don't need. So if you don't want to do this in the global EQ, there are a few other ways we can go about this. Unfortunately, in the head rush, the stock cabs does not give you a low and high pass filter. If we go in and choose maybe one of the revolver cabs, we can see this has a low and a high, but it's not the same as the cut that we have currently on our global EQ. So, but you can adjust these per your taste if you want. And another option we have is actually in the IRs. So we can load up an IR. Here's my Doctor McFarland IRs, which you should totally check out. And I'm just going to choose that one. And you can see we have a high cut that we can bring down to that 5K range. And we have a low cut that we can bring up to 80 to 100 hertz, somewhere in there. So if you don't have a good option within the cab or IR itself, then you can just go in, choose an EQ, and maybe we'll do a Para EQ default. And this one actually has a nice parametric EQ, just like you would see in a DAW. So we can go in, do the same kind of thing. This is actually a little bit more versatile. We can make this a shelf, a peak, a 6 dB, 12 dB, or a 24 dB slope. And then we can have a notch, and that's about it. So let's just stick with a 24 dB per octave, and we'll keep this at around 80 or so. And then go up to the high, and we're going to do a 24 dB at 5K. So now let's go back to our global EQ, turn this off. And now this should give us the same kind of result that we had before. Let me get rid of these other cabs, which I don't need. And we'll go back to the clean tone real fast. So here's the parametric EQ off. And with it on. Okay, same thing for the overdrives. Here it is with the EQ off. And with it on. Now, I might know what you're thinking right now, and you're saying, well, it sounded a little bit better when you had all that high end. High end makes it more exciting sounding. And once you add in the parametric EQ, it started sounding a little dull. Well, it's just your ears getting accustomed to the new sound. But once you play with this kind of sound a little bit longer than a few seconds, your ears will get accustomed to it, and you won't be missing that extra sizzle that you're probably used to. Now, with that said, we can go in and change the quality, maybe give it a little bump of that cutoff resonance, and this is what we got now. So if you've always wondered how to tighten up your tone and just get better tone in general, then using filters in this way by cutting out the lows and the highs will get you a lot closer to the sound that's in your head, because this is what happens when you record in the studio, then that song gets mixed. More than likely they are filtering out a lot of that low end and the high end in the guitars, so that way it makes room for the cymbals, the snare, maybe acoustic guitar, and other high-end information. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and be sure to leave a comment or a question down below. And if you want to help support the channel in any way, there are affiliate links and also links to my website. So I appreciate everyone watching, and until next time, I'm Dr. McFarland. I will see you in the next video. Keep rocking.